Good afternoon, my name is Charlie Harris, I'm 20 years old, and this is my application for the 3-year course and the 1-year course at the Oxford School of Drama. I'd like to apply for Oxford because I feel like when I looked at it on your website through the prospectus, I got a real sense of family. The teachers there, they seem to really care about the students, their individual process. I think the fact that you don't offer degrees and more, those qualifications, it shows that you're not just trying to set people to a rigid mark scheme. It feels free. It feels like a space where you can experiment and play. And I love that sense of freedom. And that's a space where I want to develop myself as an actor. And when it comes to a moment from theatre that's really impacted me, I'd have to say one of the later scenes between Hedda and Judge Brack in the National Theatre's tour of Hedda Gabler with Ruth Wilson. There was a moment, Lovborg's killed himself and Brack knows, and he's now telling Hedda that he knows, and he's exerting that power over her. And throughout the scene, he's sipping on this drink, I think it was tomato juice. And then, so the scene reaches its peak, and he takes a mouthful and spits it on Hedda. So her face, her chest is covered in red. And I think that was just such an impressive scene. I mean, I was invested beforehand, but that happened. And immediately as an audience member, I shot up in my seat and I started, I was engaged in every moment. I think the relationship that those two actors had on stage in that moment was so powerful and so impressive. The way Brack held that power over Hedda was just astonishing. I think that was the moment where I realised that no matter what year a play is written, no matter where it's set, it's not the language that matters, it's the themes, it's the actors, it's the relationship between those two that are so important and so vital and transcend time, and those themes are going to be relevant. The power, the submissiveness, that's going to be relevant no matter who you are, where you come from, and what time you're watching it. And I found that so endearing, so impressive, and I knew that was a world that I needed to be a part of. So the two speeches I'm going to be doing for you today are my classical speech, will be Act 3, Scene 1 from Measure for Measure, Claudio's monologue, and my contemporary speech is an excerpt from The Man on the Platform by Mark Gatiss. Were I but to die and go we know not where, to lie in cold obstruction and to rot, and this warm motion to become a kneaded clod, and the delighted spirit to bathe in fiery floods, or to reside in thrilling region of thick-ribbed ice, or to be trapped in the viewless winds and blown with restless violence round about the pendant world, or to be worse and worse of those that lawless and uncertain thought imagine howling. Is too horrible. No, the lowest and most base worldly life that age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay upon nature, it is a paradise to what we fear of death. Now, sweet sister, let me live. Whatever sin that you do to save a brother's life, nature dispenses with the deed so far that it becomes a virtue. I don't know how much time's passed, but I wake up and the train's pulling into a station. Inside the carriage there's just these little night lights on. Bluey, they sort of make everyone look 3 parts dead. The train's pulling into a station and it's going slow, like puffing. Like some of them boys in the recess tent, and then I see him, Terence. He's standing out the window on the platform, great coat, hair all tucked away under his cap, neat, and he's talking to someone, and well, they must have made him laugh because he's got those little lines in his cheeks again. But he don't see me. So I push past the other fellas on the crowd, and it's not easy, mind, because most of them are dropped off, and I almost trip over some poor bugger, and he curses at me, but I make it to the window. I pull down the sash, the air outside is warm, and all I want to do is wave, but of course, what can I say? So long, Captain Leslie. So long, Purse. But then, all of a sudden, the train gives a great big lurch forward. The brakes go on, blue lights go off, and then just like that, it's pitch black. Now, all the other fellas, they start moaning and groaning, and someone says, oh, here we fucking go. But all I can feel is my heart beating, and the air and the darkness pressing against the window, and my hands gripping the window ledge. And then someone takes my hand. Someone outside on the platform, and it's Terence. And he takes my hand, and he just lifts it to his lips, and he kisses it. There's no train then. There's no troops. There's no war. There's just his bramble lips pressed against the tips of my fingers. And all the hair on my neck, stands up on end. And then the train gives another great big lurch forward. Blue lights come back on, and outside there's nothing but steam. Steam and darkness.